Hi, Michelle Perda here, life and marriage coach for moms. Today we're going to be talking about something I hear a lot about, and in fact, a lot of my clients struggle with, and it's on how to keep the peace in your marriage. How to keep the peace in your marriage. If you have this particular challenge in your marriage, let me know by typing in the comments and letting me know that you struggle with this, and share what you're specifically struggling with so that I can give you some feedback on your particular situation. So, keeping the peace. What most people consider keeping the peace is doing whatever it takes to have a harmonious, conflict-free marriage. And how that usually translates is to not bring up anything that may cause any sort of conflict, confrontation, drama. If you believe that this is what it means to keep the peace in your marriage, let me know in the comments so that I know that you also believe that. I have a lot of thoughts on this. So when you believe that that's what it means to keep the peace in your marriage, what you're actually saying to your marriage and to yourself is that you would rather base your relationship on lies instead of transparency and vulnerability in order to avoid feeling uncomfortable, to avoid your husband feeling uncomfortable, to avoid eliciting reactions that make you feel uncomfortable, and the potential of upsetting him or the potential of him giving you reactions that would upset you. So you're avoiding negativity, okay? So that's what it's actually doing. And not only that, but it doesn't allow room for your marriage to experience growth. When your marriage is based on only the good stuff and burying and hiding the things that are challenging your relationship, it's like a facade. It's not a genuine, authentic happiness that you have in your relationship. It's more so curated, and you're essentially redirecting the conflict to inside of you. So you're sacrificing your own internal happiness, your own self-worth and self-respect to essentially keep a false sense of peace. Yeah, that's what it really means. Now, conflict is actually very normal and very necessary. Now, there are varying levels of conflict, of course. And without knowing your specific relationship, it all comes down to how you approach the conflict and how you're handling it. And you have to accept that, like I said, it is very normal and very necessary that conflict actually exists in all types of relationships. So just because your relationship has conflict regularly does not mean that your relationship is unhealthy or toxic, or that you're not meant to be together, or you're not compatible, or whatever you're making it mean. It doesn't necessarily mean that. Conflict does not always equal time to move on. No. Conflict exists inside of you when you're unhappy with what you've done, like disappointment, or when you're feeling conflicted, that's conflict. And conflict exists with your kids when they're not listening, when they're having a bad day, when they disagree with you, that's conflict. Conflict exists with your friendships, even your closest ones. It exists with your parents, your siblings, your coworkers, your husband. Conflict is everywhere, and it doesn't mean anything bad. It does not always equal time to whatever, jump ship, or that it means that your marriage is headed into like a very bad space. It just does not mean that. So instead, I want you to reframe what you think it means to keep the peace in your marriage. Instead, I want you to view it as keeping the peace means both of you experiencing internal peace within yourself. When you keep it inside of you, it actually builds up a lot of turmoil. It represses your feelings, it represses your needs, and it further damages your self-esteem, your self-worth, and self-respect. And if this is something that you're already struggling with, you're perpetuating that issue by not bringing up what you are dissatisfied with. And same for him. If he is the one that is so-called a peacekeeper by avoiding conflict, he's internalizing the conflict. The conflict has not been resolved just because you don't bring it up. It's just shifted to a different place. So keeping the peace actually means that both people feel at peace. And when you don't bring up conflict, that's not making the conflict go away. You're keeping it inside of yourself. So stop sacrificing yourself thinking that you're making your marriage better, because you're actually making it worse. You are building up resentment. You are building up anger, frustration, and you don't need any more of that than the world already has to offer you. You don't need to do that to yourself. So what you can do to start actually genuinely keeping the peace in your marriage is to start speaking your truth. Speak your truth so that then you can open up the doors to actually resolving conflict. If you don't share how you feel and you don't share what you need, how is he supposed to know what's going on? From his perspective, all he may be seeing are the little passive aggressive jabs that you're making because you're not actually speaking up for what you really want to say. And instead, you're holding on to this problem inside of you, and it's just leaking out in behaviors that are sabotaging your relationship. So just keeping it inside of you is sabotaging it all around. You're sabotaging yourself, you're sabotaging your relationship. Your kids can feel that negative energy that's between you two, the tension. So instead, speak your truth, open up the doors to conflict resolution, right? Because he can't read your mind. And then use that as an opportunity to grow. Assess how it went. Do you need to change how you approach the conversation? Does he need to change how he approaches the conversation? Use it as a vehicle to learn more about yourself on an individual level and to learn more about you as a couple. What patterns have you created? How can you shift away from that and break that pattern and create a healthier one? That's what it means to keep the peace. You're doing the long run. You have the long run goal, not the short term, well, okay, well, I guess it's just me that doesn't like this, so I'll just keep it to myself. You could do that, but you're just going to welcome more of those feelings to stay and intensify. Okay, so conflict, not bad. It's the approach, okay? And if you're needing help with the approach, then I highly recommend taking my course, my communication course. It's a very quick course that you can go through. It's self-paced, so you can fit it into your breaks throughout the day with no video longer than 20 minutes, with worksheets and even a meditation audio for you to help anchor into your confidence and to create more calmness within you so that you can approach the conversation with more ease and clarity and know exactly that you're doing your best with the right tools to show up as grounded and clear as possible and know how to navigate the conversation if it starts to escalate, right? I always say you don't have to ride the roller coaster with him. If he's the reactive one, you can still stay within your power, stay calm, stay confident, and just witness him going through the emotions. And then continuing the conversation once he's done, right? So knowing how to set boundaries, knowing how to maintain them, and knowing how to use conflict as a vehicle for growth in your relationship. Okay, so I'll pop that link in if that's something that you are needing right now, needing support around. Otherwise, if you're craving even deeper support, I do have openings for private clients right now. I take on one-on-one clients and we meet virtually through Zoom. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, I can see you as a client. And my clients are typically women who are done working through life or living life on autopilot, and they're ready to start living on purpose with intention so that they can start to create the life and marriage that they deserve and desire. So we work on self-awareness, we work on self-love, we work on improving your communication tools, and then of course, improving your partnership inside your marriage. So if that is calling you, reach out. I'll pop the link in the comments to apply to become a client, and we can talk about how that looks like and if we're a good fit, what we can do to start helping you live the life that you truly know that you can have, but you're just struggling with how to get there. All right, so I hope this is helpful for you. I love you all. Remember, keeping the peace includes you feeling at peace too, not just him. You matter too. Your feelings matter, they deserve to have a voice, and your needs matter, and they also deserve a voice. So go start loving on yourself, prioritize yourself, your needs, your feelings. They're all valid, they're all welcome, and have a good rest of the week. Bye.